After our last video about motorcycle theft and motorcycle-related crime, we had an overwhelming response, and we had a huge amount of comments and questions from the public and from the media, so we wanted to make another video to follow up on all of that and answer some of those questions. Firstly, we're asking for a zero-tolerance policy against motorcycle crime and against moped theft, and we want the police to have proper powers to support them in giving chase when moped thieves run from the law. But what about the risk to public safety? The issue for us is simple. It's about the balance of danger and the balance of risk to the public. Every single day, hundreds of people are robbed on the streets of London by guys stealing mobile phones and handbags using mopeds as the vehicle that enables that crime. It happens 6, 7, 8 times a day on Shoreditch High Street. Now that is a massive issue. When you compare that against the risk from the odd police chase to public health and safety, clearly the balance is heavily weighted in favour of us empowering the police to do their job to get rid of what is a crime epidemic on our streets. Secondly, a lot of people have commented that there's no point in writing letters to your MP, there's no point in demonstrating, and there's no point in posting on social media. Well, really? Do all of you out there really think that nothing has ever been changed by the public mobilising themselves and making their voices heard? I mean, what would have happened to the women's rights movements or gay rights movements or any of the things that have recently made change in this world? It's done by public opinion being listened to by the media and being listened to by politicians. If we do nothing, nothing will change. That is an absolute fact. There is absolutely no question that MPs don't like getting loads of letters in their inboxes complaining about one particular issue. And also what politicians and policymakers don't like is hearing the media take the side of the public in issues which they're handling badly. We have to stand up and be counted and say something. Let's look at what's also actually happened over the last few weeks. The police do now have more resources and new vehicles, and new powers are being tested in terms of pursuing and arresting criminals. The police are claiming that that's actually making a difference. Now, why do you think that happened? That happened because of public pressure, pressure from the media, and that being passed on to politicians and policymakers. It's also essential that we keep the pressure up. We've seen a little bit of change in recent weeks. We've certainly seen a change in people's attitudes toward moped-enabled crime and towards bike thefts. People are beginning to understand the issues, and that means the police, the policymakers, the insurance underwriters, the industry and the public. But we need to keep the pressure up. We've started the ball rolling. If we don't keep the ball rolling, things will dry up pretty quickly and things will go back to where they were. When it comes to the police and when it comes to politicians and the media, a lot of people have said, well, what about the motorcycle owners taking more responsibility for their bikes? What about this whole message of lock it or lose it? Well, let me be really clear. The only person losing it when I hear that is me. It is sensible advice to tell people that own something valuable to take care of it and look after it, and we all should do that, especially if it means we can get a lower insurance premium or we're less likely to lose our property. But we cannot be held responsible and accountable for being robbed just because at any particular time we weren't able to lock our property up properly. We need to turn that back around. There is one solution to stopping this crime epidemic, and that's to make sure the crime doesn't pay, and that is by targeting, arresting and prosecuting the criminals responsible, not making the victims the ones that are to blame. Also, remember, no amount of locking our property up is going to stop criminals taking what they want if they have no fear of the repercussions and they don't believe they're going to be challenged. Bike thieves right now are taking motorcycles off people off the streets with violence, threats of violence and with weapons. No amount of lock it or lose it is going to stop that. So, what about our right and our ability to defend ourselves and defend our property? A lot of people seem to think that there's nothing we can do if we see a crime taking place, and they complain about people who just stand by and film. There are very few people who do step in and try and stop thieves taking motorcycles, especially if they belong to somebody else. But the truth is, in the UK, we are protected under the law. We are allowed to intervene, and we are allowed to defend ourselves, and we are allowed to use reasonable force to do so. You don't necessarily have to be a hero and dive in there and try and attack people who probably have weapons, but if you are brave enough to do so, you will be protected under the law. If you don't feel confident enough to intervene and you are going to stand around and just film a robbery, fine, do that, but do it for the right reasons. Don't do it to get more likes on your Facebook page or your Instagram feed. Do it to help try and secure a conviction, to get evidence, and to share with other people what's actually happening out there on the streets. So, what about We Ride London? People have asked us, what are we doing? Behind the scenes, We Ride London are speaking to the police. We are talking to them at various levels about the powers they have and what it is that the motorcycle community expects of them. What we've told them is that motorcycle riders want to see the police have power to give chase. Most of all, we want to encourage all of you to get involved and to make your voices heard. So there's a lot we can do. You can write to your MPs, you can post on social media, you can share stuff, but we also need to stand up and be counted so that while we're doing stuff in the background, we can also mobilise people in the foreground and go on demonstrations and be seen and heard by the public. If you want to find out more, and you should, go to weridelondon.com and find out what you can do.